we took a new offer from zero to about 3 million in cumulative revenue within the 7 or 8 months that we were working on it. I think between both launches, we generated 7 figures, 10 out of 10. I think you're the only marketer that I've worked with that I can say that about.
Rian, welcome. Thanks for hopping on, man. For those who are watching and may not know who you are or what you do, can you give us kind of a quick intro and background on yourself?
Sure, and thanks for having me, DJ. So I am co-founder and CEO of Flow Research Collective. We are considered by many to be the world's leading neuroscience-based research and training center focused on peak performance and flow states. Over the last 6 years, we did about 50 million in revenue cumulatively. More importantly, worked with about 15,000 individual executives and entrepreneurs and B2B companies as well, like the Air Force, Meta, Audi, Accenture, and a number of other big firms. So that's kind of been my main thing, and then make content on Flow on YouTube and another related company, consulting.com, recently as well.
Wow, awesome, man. So I guess we'll kind of dive right into it. What kind of motivated you to seek marketing services from us?
That's a good question, DJ. I would say the biggest thing was finding it really hard to find good full stack marketers, especially on the creative and copy side. Creative meaning, obviously the copy and the media buying, the creative side of the media buying, but also meaning the strategy for the funnel and the offer. And you guys just did an amazing job on all of those pieces.
Appreciate that. And kind of like expand on that a bit. Have you tried working with any other like service providers to kind of solve that issue, or have you just been trying to do that all on your own, or like kind of what? Yeah,
we tried a few things. We tried building a team internally, but it's tough to get world-class copywriters internally. Like, they can be really, really expensive. We've tried many times to hire a CMO. I actually personally no longer even believe in that approach for these kinds of businesses. I think it's too hard to find someone who's good enough to be worth having full time, if that makes sense. Or and you're better off building the team bottom up, or working with someone, like what you guys do. So yeah.
Right. So you tried to essentially bring on a CMO. Did you work with any other like agencies, freelancers, or any other kind of?
Loads of agencies, loads of freelancers. Yeah, we've churned through dozens of different service providers over the years.
Gotcha. And kind of, what was your experience like doing those things? Like, did you see success, or what were kind of like some typical struggles that you guys may have faced, working with other people versus kind of working with us?
Coordination was a big struggle that we would have before, like getting all the different pieces to fit well and sync well. Cost, honestly, was a big struggle. Quality of copy and creative was a big struggle, and probably the biggest one was just results.
Right.
Hard to get really amazing results, stunning results out of a kind of hodgepodge solution like that.
Gotcha. Makes a ton of sense. So kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about was kind of one of the primary things that we worked on together over the last 8 or so months was essentially building a new offer and kind of launching that. So I kind of want to dive into that a bit, and just kind of hoping you can give a bit of context on kind of like where that offer was before we started working together, and then briefly kind of what we were able to get that offer to throughout that period of us working together.
Sure, and I would just say overall, DJ, that I just think you did such a phenomenal job with us. You deserve all those medals in the background. I'm hoping they're for copywriting.
Yeah, those are mine.
But no, you did a really just amazing, unbelievably great job. Honestly, I could not possibly recommend you more highly to others. You just were so diligent with every single deliverable, constantly willing to help on anything, incredibly fired up about what we were doing and passionate about what we were doing, which was infectious to the rest of the team. Your copy was just pristine always and worked amazingly. I mean, to your original question, we took a new offer from zero to about I think 3 million in cumulative revenue, something like that, within the 7 or 8 months that we were working on it. And yeah, all of the creative that you generated was just incredible. The strategies that you suggested to us were great, and the whole thing just worked amazingly. So I really feel extremely comfortable endorsing you heavily to others.
I really appreciate that, man. That's great to hear. So to dig a bit deeper into that, like what did that process look like? You know, essentially taking an offer from basically zero, kind of coming up with the entire concept for that offer, launching it, and then getting it to, like you said, 3 million in cumulative revenue. And what how would you describe like kind of our involvement in that process?
I mean, I would say you helped with the positioning of the offer in the first place, the funnel and how to go about selling it, the price point, and then obviously all the granular pieces like the actual, specifics of the funnel, the automations, the messaging, the emails, all the assets, the webinar, the pre-call, everything. You helped both provide clarity on at a strategic level, and then obviously helped execute, or did directly execute.
Right. So essentially, from working on the actual strategy of the offer throughout, building the actual, conversion mechanism that we're going to use to actually sell it, from like the ads to the actual funnel, emails, etc. Would you consider that accurate?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Awesome. And what would you say, like, working on something like that, like essentially working on an entire new department and offer within the business, like so closely with us specifically, like how would you describe that experience other than just the results and like the revenue that came from it? Like, what was that experience like?
I was 10 out of 10. And honestly, DJ, I think you're the only marketer that I've worked with of everyone that we've had at FRC over the years that I can say that about. I think I want to make sure that's a think, just in case there is someone else who is watching this and is deeply insulted who we've worked with. But more or less, we've definitely worked with some other amazing people. But as far as like just an all around 10 out of 10, I think you're more or less the only one I can say that about.
Wow, man, I really appreciate that. And the feeling is mutual. You guys were 10 out of 10, and I had such a blast just, working with you so closely as well. So I'm really, glad to hear that. So outside of that offer, typically, obviously, that was kind of like a big project, and that was, something that we spent a lot of time on working together, and was kind of like the focal point of what we did together. But outside of that specific offer, what are some other like key results that we were able to achieve together?
Boosting show up rate by dialing in all the automations around show up rate, improving post call sales through improving follow up, getting a massive amount more juice out of SMS. I mean, that was crazy when we did the Flow for Writers SMS launch out of nowhere, and we generated, I don't know, 6 figures as just essentially bonus revenue by properly leveraging SMS. Yeah, I think the top of funnel work that we did together. Yeah, so there's a whole host of different things.
Awesome. And I think like a couple other things I would love to kind of break down is we did a few pretty cool launches, like outside of, obviously we ran, paid traffic for like that main offer, but then we did a few launches just to the existing database. And I'd love if you could kind of touch on those, because we saw some pretty cool results from, not having to spend anything on ads, and then being able to, generate a pretty substantial amount of revenue just from the existing database, which I thought was pretty cool. That was like one of the more fun things that we actually worked
Yeah,
on.
I think between both launches we generated 7 figures, or just over 7 figures between both launches out of the existing database. They were really well architected, well structured launches with a really smart kind of philosophical underpinning to the launch and how it was rolled out from a messaging standpoint. And they just did amazingly. We flooded the sales team for multiple weeks from each launch, and had the impact of those launches last over a month each, I would say.
Right. So that was kind of like over 7 figures within like a 60-day time period. We did actually 3 launches, correct? Because we did like obviously Flow for Riders.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
one,
correct. Yep. 3 launches.
three.
Yeah. So that's not including Flow for Riders. Flow for Riders
Right.
was another 700 or so in revenue on top.
Right. Within kind of the Flow for Riders launch, I'd say that was a 30-ish day period because we kind of relaunched it a bit. Would you say that's
Yeah.
accurate?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a blast, dude. Those were sick.
Yeah, they were great.
Awesome. So if we were to sum up kind of all of the revenue we helped generate and, you know, the key results over the past 8 to 12 months, like what would you say that, you know, looks like? And then what were some of the other, you know, benefits that you could describe outside of revenue from just working with us, you know, in particular?
First question is, from a revenue standpoint, what can we generate?
Yeah, like what would you say if we summed up everything, like from the launches, the new offer, and then obviously the existing offers, like from a revenue standpoint, what would you say if we summed that all up, you know, was attributable to the work that we did together? And then outside of just, you know, results, revenue, et cetera, what like some other benefits that you noticed?
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, no, I would say about 3 million in revenue at least was attributable, potentially more than that, for 2024. Absolutely. Potentially more than 3 million in revenue. So, yeah, at least that. And then, I think in addition to that, I mean, a huge thing that you provided, like working with you was the first time ever in the 6 years of the company that I didn't have to review all the copy. And that was massively helpful, massively helpful. Even when we had a team of like 60 people, which was at our peak, I would still review by hand, you know, with my own eyes, all the copy before any launch. But I just didn't have to with you because I trusted the quality so much that I literally didn't have to review it. And just the relief of that and the kind of speed increase that it gave me in terms of being able to just move on big marketing initiatives because I'm not getting sucked down into reviewing the weeds of each one, was huge, hugely helpful, huge peace of mind and huge speed up.
Yeah, what would you say, like kind of being in your position from obviously, I think when you started the company, you were doing the sales, the copy, the marketing, you know, fulfillment, product, like everything in the business. What, you know, would you say marketing was kind of like one of the last things you were able to
Yeah, definitely.
remove?
The last thing. Not even just marketing, copy, specifically the actual copy, like the final touch, the final polish on the copy. Just because it's so high yield if it's done properly, and it's so costly if it's just not perfect, especially when you're doing big launches and things like that. But your skill and experience and ability with it meant that I didn't have to do that final level of refinement, which was just really helpful.
Right. Awesome, man. Thanks for all the kind words. And one final question for you, for anybody who may be watching this and, you know, is maybe on the fence about working with us or has been considering working with us, what would you, you know, do you have any like final words that you'd have to say to them?
Definitely work with DJ. 100%. I really cannot recommend working with you enough, DJ. You're one of the top people I've ever worked with, genuinely, on the outside of marketing, just overall, in terms of integrity, attitude, quality of work, speed, you know, willingness, the actual results themselves. Obviously, I could not recommend you more strongly, and I mean that literally, not hyperbolically. So if in doubt, go for it. And, you know, I think it goes without saying that, you know, the getting great results with you is not just on you, it's on both people. It's on both sides, obviously. So I think everyone needs to know as well that, you know, you've got a kind of your dance partners, you know, but I think you, on your side of the deal, couldn't deliver better. And so long as someone is willing to hold up their side of the deal and like provide you with what you need, I think they'll get absolutely amazing results and will be delighted to have worked with you.
Man, it's great to hear everyone watching this. I definitely sent him a nice wire to say all those nice things.
You didn't, I swear. I swear you didn't.
But I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for hopping on. You know, you're the man. I just appreciate you. I hope we can see you soon in person. I miss you, man. And
You too, DJ. You too. Absolutely. You got it, brother. Lots of love, dude, and all the